we're ready to start whenever you are ready, President.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call our meeting, the Vallejo Flood and Wastewater District to order at 5:32 p.m. And I will ask our clerk to conduct a roll call, please.
Yes. President Source,
Present.
Vice President Vergenser,
Present.
Secretary Matulak,
Present.
Trustee James,
Present.
Trustee Gordon,
Present.
and let it be known for the record that Trustee Matias and Trustee Palmeres and Trustee Letigue are either going to be absent or arriving late.
That will move on, and I'll ask everyone to please join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all. We'll note for the record, Trustee Palmeres is present now as well. And that will bring us to our approval of agenda, and I will ask the board if there are any requests of changes to the agenda. And hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All right, we don't need a second on this one, all in favor? Aye. And I'm not hearing any oppositions or nays, so the agenda is approved. And I'll turn it over to our general manager, Mark Tomko, for our new staff introductions.
Awesome, thank you. Well, it's certainly an exciting time. We have a lot of people here. We've had some amazing hires recently, so we'd like to take a second to introduce them. Where they're coming from and what they're going to do for the district. So I'll go by department. I'll start with business services with Jeff Tucker.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to first introduce Kay Bowen. Kay comes to us as our new IT manager. Previously with Central Contra Costa Sanitary District, it's all called Central San. Before that, you were there about 6 years. Before that came from BART, doing a lot of GIS work and IT work. Mostly from California, except you did a small stint out in Indiana, went to Purdue for a master's degree. But we're happy to have Kay here. Welcome. I also want to introduce our communications intern. She just started a couple weeks ago. This is Layla Budawon. There you are. Okay. Layla just recently, like weeks ago, graduated from San Francisco State University. Also has interned with the San Francisco PUC and wastewater division. So comes to us actually with water experience. So we're very happy to have her.
I will part of business services, but president of finance department. We just recently hired Veronica. Veronica comes from the city of Napa and Sonoma Irrigation District with a ton of experience in payroll. So we're over 10 plus years of experience in those public sector work. She is born in Mexico City, and we're happy to have her here. We haven't had a position, it's been vacant for quite some time, and so she really has stepped in. And this is her first or second week here, but the first week hit the ground running. She knows all of our business processes already coming from the city of Napa, so I'm glad we stole her from there. City of Napa, but welcome, Veronica.
Now we'll move over to technical services with Tracy Rideout.
Good evening, board. Don, go ahead and stand up. Technical Services is pleased to introduce our newest assistant engineer, Donald O'Brien. Donald originally comes from Dublin, Ireland. Migrated to California in his early 20s. The last 9 years, he's been working with RSA engineers out of Napa, but he's been with us now for a couple of months. He's working hard on collection system improvement projects and other engineering projects. What do you like to do in your spare time, Donald?
I'm a rugby player, and I also like to spend some time riding my bike up and down the Vine Trail from here to Napa and back.
Now, Donald also spent some time coaching youth sports like many of us in engineering. Go soccer team. Thank you for this moment.
Johnson Ho, Director of Operations.
Good evening. I'm not so used to introducing a lot of new employees. Justin Crockett. So Justin came from, we poached him from Napa Waterfront. So again, we get you a great candidate. He's been there for 2.5 years. Before that, with John Veer, that's a heavy equipment mechanic. So What do you do in your spare time?
My wife and I shoot archery competitively, and enjoy gardening and cooking. Yeah.
There you go. Steven came from what Ireland also.
Ireland.
Yeah, he got his partnership from Ireland as a electrical instrumentation tech. He's been with the consulting engineer that serves what we call integrations throughout the water plant. So he's been with that industry since 2013. So he's been know our industry pretty well. So he's very talented as well. We welcome him to our new team and it's great time.
A lot of vision.
Also came from, we poached him from refineries, so he's been doing this for 8 years, so again, another talent that we picked up, then new member. Just a fresh, just a new talent, give us a fresh, the talent pool that we needed on this, and instrumentation electrical. He's also has done either laboratory, residential, recently with Martinez, so what do you do in your spare time, Tyler?
Pretty low key, like to cook and just really, watch TV, travel, try new restaurants. Pretty low key with me and my girl.
It's also Tyler's birthday today.
Next, I'd like to introduce Justin Keating, Director of Field Operations.
Yeah, so field operations welcomes Christian Rico. He goes by Rico. He comes to us from the Castro Valley Sanitary District. And before that, he also worked for a private contractor that did CCTV work for PG&E. So I'm happy to bring that CCTV experience into our department. What do you like to get into?
Like to eat. Different things, different cuisine. Yeah, hiking.
Rico is also a Vallejo resident. And then the other one that's not here tonight is Jesse Dominguez. He comes to us from the City of Vacaville Water and Sewer Departments.
Awesome. Next, I'd like to introduce Leah Maxoon, our HR Director.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to introduce Nick Hunter, our new addition to the Safety Risk HR team. Nick is our new safety manager. He brings more than 15 years of experience in safety and first responder support, along with a bachelor's in emergency management. He joined us from the Napa Sanitation District, following his work with the city of Sacramento. He also served 7 years in the Air Force as a firefighter EMT. We're very excited to welcome him to the team.
It's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what's going on with Napa? We got all the.
I know. We got some great hires from other special districts, which is impressive. I mean, other districts that are very well versed, and a lot of city hires as well. So we've done very well recruiting stuff. Right. So thank you guys. Don't have to stay a long time. You should comment if you need to go.
Thank you.
I just make a comment and shout out to your HR teams and to your recruitment team for getting this many people recruited at one time, and the fact that maybe you guys can kind of talk to our HR department to help us, because if we had this many hires in 1 month, we'd be better off. So I just want to commend your HR team and your recruitment team for the great work you guys have been doing. So excellent job.
I was saying to you, Tyler, but I want to throw him in the back. Happy birthday.
You do better than me, I guarantee that.
Joining us, welcome. All right, great way to start the meeting. That is going to move us to our consent calendar. And we'll check first and see if there's any public comment on the consent calendar.
We have not received any online, and we don't have one in person.
Correct. Seeing that in person, if there are any items that the board would like to remove from the consent calendar, go ahead, Trustee Fletcher.
So I'd like to move item B.
B would be like Boyd. All right, we will remove item B and turn that into 5.1. And seeing none others, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Yes, I have a motion that we approve the consent calendar as presented, except for removing item B and making it 5.1. And then also approving the agenda.
All right, all in favor? Any nays or abstentions? All right. Consent calendar is approved and we'll move on to 5.1, previously item B, which is the authorization to sign for the general manager to sign a federal advocacy services agreement with ENS Resources and a state advocacy service agreement with Joe A. Gonsalves and Sons. I'll turn it over to trustee Letty here. This is the item.
Okay, so we'd like to have information how they're using what federal advocacy services and how often you're interacting with them and how often you plan on having them speak with the board. Because the reality is there's lots going on at the federal government and I think it's really important when we're paying for these services, how they're also interacting with in conversations and really daylighting the issues and the different things that are coming down the line.
Absolutely. So we can certainly find ways to help provide the information of providing it. Actually, I just saw him on Friday this morning. Well, I saw him online this morning. We had a meeting, but yeah, he's amazing. He's also the lobbyist for CASA, which is the organization that we're part of. He sends us updates. He is our main contact with Garamendi. As soon as we heard about the Maryland dry docks, I was on the phone with him and had a letter, from Garamendi within that day that I sent to the mayor. As the mayor's working on her trip, we put him in touch as well to help with any lobbying of the district and the support. And then we're also working on, in February, we have a DC trip. And Supervisor Trustee James will be there. And so we'll be working with her on that as well. We can certainly find other ways to get involved because you're right, there's a lot happening. The one thing that he has done recently is that's in my general manager report, I'll say it now. The Senate's already approved that we will get $1.09 million that he's worked with Garamendi, worked on the appropriations, so we will get appropriated that for Merritt Island infrastructure. But yeah, however, if there's ways that we can provide more information to you or to work with some of our other Congress people will.
I think it's not so much that I need to work with the congressman because I know how to do that part of it. It's just, I think it's really important. And I think oftentimes in operations, it's easy, you're doing the day-to-day work, right? But as a board, especially in these times, it's really critical to be able to appropriately relay that information, how it connects to our budget, are there things that we really should be doing predictive modeling around because we're not always sure what type of funding we're going to receive. So I think it's really important. How do you connect those dots to what's coming down from the federal government, how the lobbyists are interacting at Congress in Washington, D.C., and what does that mean for this agency on the ground? And if we're going to pay for that, yes, it's valuable to you, but as a board member, it's part of our responsibility and our role to understand every layer of government that impacts our organization. And if you have assistance such as this to help you do that, then how do you daylight those different issues and challenges that are being relayed through the service?
Yeah, absolutely. And we do are in pretty constant contact with them, and it's more of as you know, with lobbying, sometimes it is like you're not really sure what's happening, and then all of a sudden everything comes at once. And it's really about the relationships that he does have, and so as things happen, especially with Merritt Island, it's having those relationships that we can go to him and get that information. So he's been instrumental as things come up, and if there are any things that come up, he's always there to talk to and to get our information.
No, I just think it's, again, where I'm really coming from and daylighting, you do your report, as the CEO of the organization. So, maybe not every month is you have enough information to daylight, but hey, here's some real key issues that are happening in Washington, D.C. Here are the potential impacts. Here's what the lobbyists and I are talking about. These are the things that we're challenged with, right? And so it's really at the 100,000 level, but and then coming down and really keeping your board apprised of these different things. So I'm used to being in government, and this is why I understand all of these different layers. And I just, as a board member,
I want to hear those things, and when I'm managing a board, I make sure my board hears those things.
No, it's great. I can certainly provide that as information becomes available and provide the information to people.
So thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve and authorize the general manager to sign a federal advocacy services agreement with ENS Resources Inc. and a state advocacy services agreement with Joe A. Gonzalez and Sons.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or exceptions? All right, that passes, and that'll move us on to administrative items, of which we have none. So we're gonna move on now to item number 7 on our agenda, which is our general manager report. I'll turn it back over to the general manager.
Thank you. So this is Eddie. This will be Senate Bill 707 is a new mandate that local agencies must provide a copy of the Brown Act, all new board members starting January 1st, 2026. And Claire will provide a quick overview.
This is the Brown Act. So the Brown Act has some revisions this year. One of the revisions was to actually require each public agency to provide to their officials a copy of the Brown Act. We will also email this to you. It is nice to have a copy on or near your desk, however, because a lot of times you may have questions about what's going on, especially closed sessions is where we tend to get the most questions. Biggest change that happened this year in 707 was some changes to what has to happen for remote attendance, and in some cases for teleconferencing. Those things are not necessarily an issue for this board, although it may be for your other boards. There are some other provisions that relate to things like agendas and what size an agency or a city, for example, has to be at the point at which it has to translate its agendas into other languages or provide other types of assistance services to your resident members. Those in general don't apply to us. The big picture thing is really that there are new options for public agencies. So if you are unable to attend a meeting for a reason we may be able to solve through teleconferencing, and you're unsure, please feel free to call me or to call Eddie, and we can try to figure out another way to be able to ensure your attendance. But a lot of these things sort of arise out of and are continuations of what we learned under COVID. We still have the ability to do traditional teleconferencing. I want to just remind you all of that. Traditional teleconferencing says, oh golly, I'm going to be out of town doing this thing for work or my personal life, and I know 72 hours ahead of time, and I would like to remote in. And we have to just post it wherever you're staying, and that can be awkward. Like if you're staying at, let's say, a family home in another state, or but if you're at a hotel, we can post these things, and you have to make yourself available to the public at that place. Anyway, those rules don't change. We just have some new expanded rules to give you some more ability. Usually, when you have a health issue or personal care issue that needs to be taken care of. So that's really the biggest change in the Brown Act this year. And the other items don't apply as clearly to this point.
Cool. Thank you, Claire. Any questions on that real quick? Okay. Next time, the U.S. Congress has approved, like I said, the allocation of $1.09 million for sewer infrastructure improvements on Mare Island. This funding will enable the district to address key inflow and infiltration challenges in the Mare Island sewer system and protect our community's health and the surrounding environment. I want to thank and congratulate field operations. Justin's here on our lowest spill year in district history. It's the lowest we've ever had, with 6 sewer spills in 8 months with no sewer spills. So great job. The 5-year strategic plan is still in development and is scheduled to be brought back to the board in April. Jeff Tucker, Business Service Director, and I attended the California Association of Sanitation Agencies Winter Conference last week, which focused on safety and communication. The conference is basically for local agencies that work on wastewater, a lot of special districts, a lot of board members attend, consultants, used to be in a lot of GMs and also management staff. It's a great opportunity to meet other board members. And at the next conference, the 2026 annual conference, is August 4th to 7th, and it's at the Meritage Resort Napa. So we will certainly pay for you all to go. You can certainly just shoot down there and attend some of the sessions, see a lot of the board members. But it's a great time to meet a lot of the others, other board members, and kind of find out what we're all about. That's the end of my reporting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is going to bring us to the community forum, and we'll see if we have any members of the public wishing to speak in person. Seeing none,
online.
we have anybody online.
We do not.
All right, we'll close our community forum and move to reports by presiding officer and trustees. Do any of the trustees have anything to report?
Yeah.
So I'll be able to attend. this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And I also wanted to say, thank you to Eddie for amazing. Every time we need something from you, you always make yourself available, no matter when that is. And I appreciate it. And, I would say thank you to you as well. You made yourself very transparent and available. And I know that we've asked you a lot of questions, and especially in my particular district, we have a lot of concerns. And so, I really thank you for the first year, and thank you.
Appreciate it.
The board likewise to say.
That's, oh, go ahead.
Just, General Manager Tonko has alluded to it earlier that I will be joining, Flood and Wastewater District in DC. I'll be going, there's 2 trips in one. So in my capacity as supervisor, we have our annual NACO conference, that's the National Association of Counties, where we meet with our federal legislators, and it just overlaps with the Vallejo flood meeting with legislators. So we'll be staying an additional day to join General Manager, and we'll be reporting back on that trip.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, want to appreciate General Manager Tonko for his presentation of the 1.9 million, and I think we as a board or commissioner are looking forward to the breakdown of how that funding is going to be spent to speak to a lot of the concerns we brought up over the year. And I think each of us received a letter from Mare Island Company along with your rebuttal to that. So I would like to have an understanding of that being part of the conversation we've had since the beginning of last year, primarily over 7 to 9 months, and to that being acknowledged now is not telling us anything different than what we've been talking about for the past 6 years. In other words, we're still at the same spot. We've been talking about this from there. So, and I can say this from our standpoint, we wear 2 hats. So the fact we're not telling you anything different than we're telling our other staff members that get rid of this point and finger crap, get shit done. That's I mean, we're sick and tired of it. So the 3 of you guys, 3 of the organizations better get in a room that we've been asking for the past 6-9 months and get something done.
I don't think we disagree with that. Well, that is, I'm not seeing anybody else. We'll go ahead and close out those reports. Go ahead, Crystal, and you.
So a little more, and it doesn't have to be here, but a little more information on the work that goes on. I think it's once a month, or I don't know, maybe every 2 months, because it's actually right across the street from my house. And I feel sorry for the staff because it has been ice cold in Glen Cove to be out there, but the watershed program and so forth and on. But I just like to have a little more in-depth information. You know, I see the work going on, and I'll just say it like this because we also know it's natural habitat. So you just kind of see things sticking up and so forth and on, but it would be really interesting to have a little deeper knowledge. And I know when they had one of the programs, I happened to be out of town, so I wasn't able to attend. But I'm just curious to just have more information and then just to really help, especially with right in our immediate area, to help people better understand actually what's going on.
You're talking about the RC, the resource.
Like Watershed Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw them I think it was this past Saturday.
Oh,
They were
okay.
out there and it was ice cold. I told her, I said, thank you for being here, but I need to get somewhere and it's really cold out here.
All right, so that is all we got for our open meeting. We do have a closed session item this evening, and I will turn it to our general counsel to please announce this item.
All right, so now it's time on the agenda for a closed session for a public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957 regarding the general manager. Now's the time for any public comments being made, either online or in the room, and if not, then we will continue to close. We will continue to do it here, is that correct?
Yeah.
So unless we have anyone online, I'm not seeing any comments on the item.
No public comment online.
So we'll just take a minute and shuffle around the room so we can reconvene in closed session.
It's not recording, correct, Chair?
No, it's not recording.
All right, thank you all.
That's why I put it on.
Yep.